Hello, Amit.
Hi, sir.
Hi. Is Sanmitra joining? Any idea?
Not sure. I'll ask.
Okay, that's okay. We'll just wait for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll see whoever joins. We'll start. Still, we are not addressing your yesterday's question. That we will do in some other session. I want to keep this in continuation with our migration topic.
Sure.
Okay, but that is not very important, or they are not going to ask you in the interview. But for your knowledge, I'll show you the practical ones. How the instances will work and how the mapping from backend pool will happen. I'll explain it to you once.
So इंटरव्यू में ज्यादा ऐसा डीप में नहीं जाते ना, मतलब ऊपर
नहीं
ऊपर
नहीं
ठीक
हाँ
है. ओके, फिर ठीक है.
that will happen when you go for support role. Support में आपको काफी ट्रबल शूटिंग वगैरह करनी होती है. You need to know few things there. Implementation, I've given this example before this also, that if you're working on something, you have a deadline of 1 week creating 50 virtual machines. You're stuck on one virtual machine. Maybe after creating virtual machine, the RDP is not working. So instead of wasting time on that particular virtual machine, we'll simply delete that and create new one. That is an easier task, I would say. But in production, you can't do that. In support, in production, you can't do that. Right? In production, you will have to figure out what is wrong with the existing machine. You will have to work. You will have to troubleshoot that machine, and you will have to make sure that that machine itself is working,
Okay.
because that machine
Got
has an IP, users have that IP, it has data, it has website, and it has connectivity with backend, with the databases. Okay, so many things will be there, so you cannot simply ask your client to get rid of this machine and create new one. No, you can't do that when it comes to support. But when it comes to deployment, at the end of the week, you have to give 25 machines. You're stuck on 12th machine. 12th machine, after creating, you're not able to take RDP. You checked 11 machine working fine. 12th machine, RDP is not working. You tried troubleshooting and everything, whatever we do normally. It is still not working. You already spent half an hour. Now, spending more half an hour or escalating it to the next level or to Microsoft doesn't make any sense, right? Why to waste resources? Where you can simply delete that machine and create new one, because that machine is not in production yet. When you are in deployment situation, those machines are not in production,
Okay.
right? So that is the difference. That is the reason when you go for deployment interviews, they won't ask you much about troubleshooting, and you can be upfront about it and say it very clearly. No, I was not a part of support team. My job was deployment. I was a part of deployment team. We used to deploy, and yes, we used to give uh, a hypercare period support of 2 weeks. That we will read in migration also. What is hypercare period? For 2 weeks.
Okay.
Let's say that I have deployed the machine and I have deployed application. For 2 weeks, I'll be there to support my client. But after that, it will be transferred to the support team. And anything after that, they want to reduce the machine, increase the machine is not working, workload is not working, anything and everything will be taken care by support. You will be moved to some other project. You will be deploying uh, resources for some other company, some other project. Is it clear?
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, let's wait
Sure.
for 2-3 minutes. I'll see if someone else is joining, or we'll start with our migration topic where we left yesterday. Or meanwhile, if you have any questions from yesterday's topic, you can ask. 1 more minute, we'll wait, Amit, and then we'll start.
Sure, sure.
And again, as I told you yesterday, we are not doing any practical. Okay, majority of the sessions on migration will happen on theory because the interview questions will be based on theory. No one is going to give you their screen or ask you to share your screen and ask you to do a migration. Even a lab practical of migration will take minimum 2 hours, and no interview will have that sort of time, right? So no one is going to ask you to show a practical of migration. They will assess you on migration, but definitely on theory. So we'll be spending more time on theory, but as I said, we will do it. We will do the practical. Okay, so it's already 10 minutes we have waited. Let's start. Um, any questions, Amit, on topics which we covered yesterday on migration?
No, no. I may have questions ahead because एक दो जगह है जहाँ मुझे पूछना था.
ठीक है, we'll start. Whenever you have question, feel free to stop and ask me. Okay, these questions will come back to this. How many cloud migrations have you done? These are theoretical questions based on your experience. We will count this. When we do the okay, Sanmitra is joining. When we do your resume preparation and when we do the story for you, for you, as in we'll have it for everyone based on their experience and everything. So accordingly, I'll let you know that how can you answer that. How many migrations have you done? How many assessments have you done? But this is a sort of formula I have given that 15 migrations. Uh, that this is over a period of 4 years. If you're 2 years, say 7, something like this. We'll discuss that. Tools, we
So
saw
as a
it yesterday.
just just a question, like as an implementation team within migration, where we fit in, like we'll be just deploying the architecture provided to us, right?
Right.
Okay. तो प्लानिंग वगैरह सब हो जाएगा, द
Planning
आर्किटेक्ट टीम.
architect team will take care of.
ओके.
There are some companies like IBM जहाँ पे implementation भी architect team ही कर देता है. Okay, some companies. But I have never seen a company where implementation team will be doing the architect wala work. So
ओके.
don't worry about it. No one is going to ask you. Okay. So let's start. Samitra, do you have any questions? We haven't started anything new. We're just discussing yesterday's topic and yesterday's methods which we discussed. So do you have any questions before we proceed?
No, nothing so far. Sorry, I was late. थोड़ा बाहर गया था मैं.
No problem. Okay, so let's start, guys. Migration. We were talking about migration. Uh, so we discussed how it works, what is migration, uh, which are the tools available. I showed you the tools on portal, but you guys will always, irrespective of your experience, what we are showing your profile, because you do not have exposure and we do not have resources to explore uh, other tools, you will stick to Azure Migrate tool. You can say that I have done all migrations using Azure Migrate tool. There is another tool called Current. It is available publicly. I can show it to you, but it will be too much for you. You stick to Azure Migrate, and ultimately, guys, it is just a tool. Once you know the concept, be it Azure Migrate tool or be it a third-party tool, that is fine. Even if you're saying, sorry, even if you are claiming or you're saying that you have done migration only on Azure Migrate, that does not mean you don't know any other tool. You should proactively tell them about 2, 3 tools. Right? I showed you those tools yesterday. I'll show it again. Wait, let me open the portal. Yeah, so if I go to Migrate, Azure Migrate, this is a service. What all things can be migrated? We can migrate servers, database, web apps, we can migrate databases, we can migrate VDIs, we can migrate web apps, we can migrate data boxes also. Okay, we'll come to this. We'll start with this one because this is comparatively a smaller chunk and they won't ask much about it. Major questions, major chunk, major work you will have here in this section. So we'll do a practical also, not today's session. Today's session will also go for theory. Maybe next session we'll also discuss theory. Fourth session is I suppose we could do practical, and we'll do practical only for servers. Okay, I won't be doing any practical for database or web apps. I'll show it to you once. Mostly questions in interview, those will be based on servers. Work in market, that is available for servers. Though database movements are also there, but it is fine. Okay, so the tools I was talking about, you will always stick to Azure Migrate tool. That I have worked on Azure Migrate tool. This is the Azure Migrate tool. Assessment tool, migration tool. Okay, so you can say we do the assessment using Azure assessment tool and do the migration using Azure migration tool. That does not mean there are no more tools. You should have at least two names on your tip of the tongue to say, okay, I know that there is a core end and there is Cloudomize. This is also famous. Okay, so you can say these two names are there, but I have never worked on that. Wherever we worked, our company or Turbonomic, this is also famous. You can take any two random names. You can say that our company or wherever I worked, those clients, they did not have any third-party tool. So all my migrations I have been doing using Azure Cloud, Azure Migrate tool. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now we have databases, we have servers, we have VDIs, web apps. Web apps, it's okay, it's a small chunk, we don't have to see much about it. VDI is almost similar to our servers, still we will not see this. Database, I'll show it to you somehow. This will do completely. Okay, so when it comes to database migration, okay, you can do the assessment first and then you can do the migration. You can do the migration without assessment. This is not a prerequisite, but it is never ever followed in industry. So you'll never say that I have done migration without assessment. Okay, there are plenty of cases you will see where you have done the assessment and later on you feel no, I am okay, I'm good on on-prem. I'm not saving any money on cloud. I'm not getting any security on cloud. After assessment, if I do 100 assessments, so maybe 10 cases, 10 clients will go back. Okay, fine, you have done the assessment. Thank you. I don't want to go ahead with migration. But you will not see a single case where client says that, okay, do the migration without assessment. Are you guys getting the difference? So it's safe to say, it's okay to say that I have done 20 assessments and 15 migrations. But you can never say that without assessment, we have done the migration. Is it clear? Yes, guys, yes, no, maybe some question, any
Yes. Yes.
difficulty?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Second thing, uh, it's not always necessary that your team will do assessment and your team will do migration. Okay, even the implementation. Maybe assessment plan has been drafted by architecture team and assessment has given to some XYZ team. Maybe in your company or maybe some outside. Then you have the assessment results. Based on that, you will do the migration. Or maybe you have done the assessment and someone else will do the migration. So there is no compulsion that you will do assessment and migration. That is also clear.
Hmm. Right.
Okay. And there's no timeline also. I mean, let's say you have done assessment today and within a week do the migration. No, there's no timeline. But yes, if you wait for a longer time, assessment will show you. Assessment will show you some things that based on this machine, this is the suitable and this is the rate. This service is available in this region. If you're waiting for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 10 months, this assessment will become an outdated assessment. Plus the pattern of your machines and database that will also change. There's no timeline you can utilize, but it is always recommended to do as soon as possible. Is it clear till here?
Yes. Sure.
Now, when it comes to database assessment, so how it works, I'll show it to you. Okay, under database assessment, you have to transfer a database. Now, what is a database? A database could be anything. How many databases do you guys know? Can one of you tell me? Any database which you know?
SQL Server,
Here,
MySQL.
Oracle, MySQL, SQL, PostgreSQL,
uh,
MongoDB, IBM
MS.
DB2. Okay, these are the databases. So these databases you can transfer. Now these are on-prem. you can transfer them to cloud, be it AWS or GCP or anything. But we are discussing Azure, so we'll stick to Azure. Okay, so you'll have to create a project on this portal. I'm not doing the practical, guys, just showing you the methods. What are there? Okay, first thing is assessment tool. See, and under assessment tool also you have these two, Unify Cloud, but you will always talk about Azure Migrate. You'll say, okay, I have worked through Azure Migrate tool. Okay, so we're not doing it. I'm just showing it to you, still showing it to you. Okay, this is how you will do. Then you will download the data migration assessment tool, DMA. Okay, data migration assessment tool. You click here, you download that tool. Don't worry, we'll do the practical again, but not for the database. You download it from here. Okay, you will get an exe file or MSI file. Now, what do you think? Where will you install this downloaded file?
On the server where the database is installed.
Perfect. Bingo. The moment you download this file here, okay, you download this file, and obviously there are some keys and strings to do the connection. It is there, no doubt in that. Okay. So there are some strings, there are some keys. We'll see that when we do the practical. But I'm just giving you a gist of it. You download this, you install it on your database wherever you have. Once it is there, you will start the assessment. You can do the assessment for a week, for 2 months, for a month, for 6 months, whatever you want. We'll discuss that when it comes to practical. Then once you have the assessment, you will install the migration tool. It is called DMT, Database Migration Tool, Azure Database Migration Tool. We're only talking about Azure, guys. There are some ISVs. ISVs is called Internet Service Provider or something. You can check for the full form, which are providing other tools, but we are not talking about them. Same method you will follow here. Once it is downloaded, then you will start seeing the results. We'll do the practical, then you will see it. Okay, and then you can click on migrate and the migration will start. Simple. Planning I will discuss. It's not that simple. I'm just giving you a gist of it. We'll discuss the planning, by the way. Just to show it to you how it looks. See, if it is an SQL migration and it is very small database, you don't even have to do something on Azure. You can go to SQL. Okay, you can go to SQL. You can select the database. Under task, you will see the deploy the database to Microsoft Azure SQL database. Can you see it here in the screenshot? But this applies to very small database. Okay, you can do it from here. This is my data migration assessment tool. Okay, here I'll have to select where is my current data, what kind of server it is, where am I transferring it to, what kind of database do I have, what is my target server type. All this information I have to submit here. Okay. Once it is done, once the connection is set up, we can set up the online data migration over the internet. One could be over the internet. What is the other way we could use, guys? That is the reason we keep a migration in the last, because I told you everything which we have discussed, we will have to use it here. So what is the other method to do the connectivity of Azure and my on-prem? I want to continuously transfer the data. Yes, Samitra.
We have one option like VPN, and what was the second one?
Remember? See, VPN, it is online when it is coming online, which means VPN. Yeah, over the internet also it's fine. VPN it's also fine, but both of them are over the internet. And my data is crucial. I don't want to go over the internet. What else do I have?
Express route, right?
Perfect.
We can use express route.
So this is how you have to explain. When we talk about migration, we'll not simply start with migration. Prerequisites of migration, what needs to be done. You don't have to say that you have done it, but you will have to say so your interviewer knows that you know it. Okay, you can say that, okay, I was working on a migration project. We had to move 300 virtual machines from XYZ from on-prem to Azure, this and that and everything. On-prem connectivity was already there. The method of the connectivity was express route. You have to mention this. So interviewer knows that this person has worked and he knows that before we start migration, this has to be there. Okay, it can be done on the internet also. Our practical will do it on the internet. For our practical, we are not going to set up any express route. But in live environment, it will never be done on internet. Clear?
Okay, sure.
So we'll select it here. We'll have to use the authentications also. Simply not anyone can go ahead and transfer your data, right? Obviously, you'll require some authentication. That part will come here. We'll do the step by step. I'm telling you, this is not a practical. Okay. Once you do that, you start moving. Once that is done, then your data will be available. See, this is how it looks. When it comes to Azure Migrate tool, okay, it discovers the servers. Once you start the discovery, it discovers the server, that how many servers are there. And then you can do the assessment. Left hand side image I'm talking about. Let me take the annotation. This image I'm talking about, this is your assessment tool. Though this one we are going to do a practical, you will see it. When you run this assessment tool, when you download this assessment tool and install it, and you have to install it on your data center on one of the servers, not all servers, okay? Just one of the servers. One server is ready, download it there, and you can start discovering. You will discover the number of servers are there in your environment. This was my practical. I had only 2 servers, but it supports approximately 35,000 servers in one discovery with one tool. But no one goes with that number, okay, guys? Migration maximum 3 to 500, and if it is very giant environment where you have 40,000 to migrate, maximum they will go with 1,000 servers, not more than that. Tools capacity is 35,000 servers, but no one will ever do the migration of 35,000 servers at a time. They will do it in planning, in chunk, in steps. 1,000 servers, first migrate them, wait, learn from our mistakes, apply them. Maybe after 3 months, we'll start another project. That is how it works. Okay. So under this discovery, the moment you click on discover button, after some time, you will see how many servers have been discovered. Then you click on assess button. It will start assessing. Now, what do you mean by assess? I explained that in detail, but what is assessment is it will see that what is your current server's configuration. Let's say that I have 2 servers here. These 2 servers have 8 GB RAM each and 500 GB hard disk each. Okay, this is the configuration. But while assessing, the Azure Migrate tool or any migration tool will do this. Okay, they will assess in detail that what is the current size of your machine, how much is being utilized. Though I have 8 GB, but throughout the assessment of 30 days, Azure tool has understood that out of this 8 GB, only 2 GB are being used. So this machine is underutilized. Based on that, Azure assessment report will suggest you that, okay, you have 2 machines, both 8 GB, but I realized, or the tool realized, that one of the machines of 8 GB from last 30 days, it is continuously using only 2 GB. So I am suggesting you to take this machine when migrating, take this machine on Azure, which has only 3 GB. Say for side, it gives 1 GB more. Now I'm just quoting the numbers for example. Don't quote me on those numbers, guys. Okay. Maybe there is no machine with 3 GB. Maybe there's only 2 and 4 and 6 and 8. Could be. Yeah. So this tool will suggest you here. It gives a report, an assessment report here. You see, This report, if we click on that, when we do the practical, when we click on that, it will give the report in each and every server's report. Maybe there are servers which are running on 8 GB, and Azure tool has experienced that this is being used 95%, that all 8 GB is being exposed or used. So there are highly chances that this can fail. That time Azure will suggest you go for, if it was 8, you're utilizing it, you go for 12 GB. That is how it will balance it. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now guys, this report is just a suggestion. Okay, you don't have to utilize it. If you want to use it, there are some options. Okay, use this button and you click next, and your servers will get start migrating. But you say, okay, yeah, this assessment was done only for a week. Okay, maybe I was talking about month, but let's say this was done only for a week. But in 1 week, Azure tool does not know this machine, my assessment was done in the first week of the month, but I know this machine which Azure is showing that it is underutilizing, this will be used in last week of the month. Maybe some appraisal, maybe some salary portal. uh, Most relevant example is your tax documents. You ask people to upload it, they won't do it. They will wait till March or December, whenever is the deadline. So I know that this is the last week of the month, this machine will be utilized. So I don't want to go with the recommendation the assessment tool is sending, right? So you can assess, you can read the report, and you can leave it. You don't have to do a migration, and you don't have to do a migration based on that report. Maybe you're saying fine, report is good, but I don't want to go ahead with that. I will do the migration. I have already done my study, what sizes to be taken, everything, I'll do that. Okay, in both cases, you're taking the assessment, considering the assessment report, or you're not considering. Next thing, you will go to migration tool. Okay, in migration tool, you'll click on replica. Now this is not migrating, guys. Okay, replica. Now what is happening till here, till this stage, it has not copied your machine from on-prem. Okay, understood one thing. Let me open Paint. Let me open Paint here. Are you guys getting it, or is it too confusing?
No, no, it's clear. So it will first create copies of it, and then only we can migrate them.
Right. Till the time it is assessing, it is not creating any copies. Okay, your data is still there. Let's say this is your on-prem, left side is your on-prem. This is cloud, could be any cloud, but here I'm taking Azure. Yeah, please, Sister. Guys, feel free to say anything. If anyone has any questions, you don't have to message me separately. It's okay. Just unmute yourself and ask. Yes, Srishti.
Actually, it was a little bit confusing for me.
Oh, for you, obviously it has to be. This is your second session or maybe first session, right? This is
Yeah.
our last session actually. Before migration, we
Okay.
have 80 videos to complete. So you can join here. It's okay, just for the knowledge or just to get a gist of it. But this is the last stage of this training. We hardly have 2 or 3
Okay.
sessions after this. So whenever you join new batch, you will understand it from scratch. That is the reason we keep migration at
Okay.
the end, because all these steps we have been doing, we have been practicing. So it's okay. It's not expected from you to understand it. That's completely fine. You can watch the
Okay.
other
And
videos, or you can relate it when I start the next batch.
yes, I watched 4 and 5 for the first, second, third, fourth, and last live session and that one.
Hi, it's nothing. I mean, first sessions, it's just introduction. We haven't even started Azure in initial
Yeah.
5 sessions. So it will take some time. Don't worry. If you're not understanding it, that's completely fine. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So guys, let's say these are your machines. Okay. So these are your machines. You installed Microsoft Azure assessment tool on one of these machines. Let's say here, you install it here. Okay, and these are connected. Obviously, these are in one data center or one network. which means these are connected somehow. Maybe MPLS connectivity, maybe network connectivity, any sort of connectivity it has. If there is no connectivity, then it doesn't help installing it only one. So if it is connected, then only it is going to help. Now, Microsoft Assessment Tool, what is it doing? Your assessment tool is creating a report here on Azure portal. But this is just a report. What it did, it did the scanning, whatever it had to do here, and it created a report and recommendations for you. Okay, this is done. But your data, it is still there. Your data will start moving when you install migration tool. Under migration tool, when you click on replicate, then the replication will start. And can anyone tell me which service do we use for replicate? Azure at the back end, which service do we Azure uses for replication? We have done this. Replication, guys.
ASR,
Full form?
Azure Site Recovery, right?
Perfect. Most of the time they will ask you this question in interview. बहुत frequently पूछा जाने वाला question है. Okay, ठीक है, you are using migrate, and one thing to let you know, this migration tool जो है ना, this is just a GUI, I would say. At the backend, ASR ही use हो रहा है. And initially we used to do using ASR directly. Migration tool तो अभी बस आया है with limited options और एकदम crisp करने के लिए, ताकि it is easy to use it. Backend में ASR ही use हो रहा है. Okay. So here it is still giving you an assessment report. You want to use it, you don't want to use it, up to you. When you start a migration, you install a migration tool again here, maybe on this server or any server. It's not necessary it has to be same server, it can be any server. Then it will start replicating your machine here. Okay, then it will start replicating your machines. Now when I say machine, it is not, guys, it is not replicating your RAM and everything. It is just replicating your hard disk, your data. Okay, that is here, and then you decide whether you want to go with this plan or you want to select your own machines. If you're going with this plan, whatever size of the machine, I hope now I don't have to repeat what is the size of the machine, right? We have discussed it in very thorough manner. What are the size of machine? I hope you remember, right, guys?
Yes.
It decides the RAM and CPU of the machine. So whatever it's decided here, it will start patching that. Not at the migration stage, okay? At the replication stage, this report is available and data has been replicated. That's all. Nothing more than that.
Okay.
Okay. Once this is done here, once you have the replicated server, now see, I have two discovered servers, but I have replicated only one server. And it's not like that. The moment you click on replicate, all 35,000 servers are replicating. The moment you click on replicate, it will give you an option. Which all servers do you want to replicate? Based on assessment, I have decided, okay, out of these two servers, only one is good enough where I'm saving some money. Well, I'm going to migrate only one. So once you click on replicate, you will get options which servers to be selected. And you can select only those servers, and only those servers will be replicated. Clear?
Okay. Good.
Sorry, guys. So once it is there, once it is replicated, you can click on migrate. I hope you guys can see it, right? We'll do the practical, by the way, don't worry. This practical, we are going to do it. You'll click on migrate. Once you click on migrate, it's not migrating your machine directly. First thing will happen is a test migration. Under test migration, what happens when I click on test migration, though you can skip test migration, but it is not recommended. Under test migration, let's say these all machines I plan to move. So under test migration, I can decide, okay, this machine is coming here. When this machine is coming here, the data which I have replicated here, that data will be aligned to the machine which this assessment report has decided, and this machine will be up and running and ready without an IP address. You'll have to assign an IP address and check if everything is working fine, if it's not, or maybe with an IP address, but you will have to define a different VNet for that. Different from what I'll explain it to you. You'll have to define an isolated VNet for that. Okay, this is test migration. Now, what is the difference between test migration and actual migration? When I'm doing the test migration, this machine of mine, the actual machine, it is still running, it is still providing services, people are connecting to this, and this is just a dummy case, you can say, of the same machine in replica, but dummy with a different ID. So you can check it locally whether everything is working fine or no. Is it working fine? You don't even require any downtime for that. Once you are sure that everything is working fine, that my machine replica is working fine, then you will have to clear the test migration. That you get an option there. I will show it to you when we do the practical. You'll have to clear the test migration. The moment you click on clear the test migration, everything, the machines and everything which was created, not the replica, the machine which was created in VNet and subnet, all will get deleted. But now you're sure that this is the best replica, and I can go ahead with the migration. Now, when the actual migration comes, guys, you will have to send an email and do everything that we are migrating this machine, might take 6 hours. So for 6 hours, this application is not available. You must have seen the emails from IT team, right? कभी आउटलुक डाउन होगा 6 घंटे के लिए, maybe your leave portal is down for 6 hours, we are doing some upgrade. So similarly, you have to send the details. You, as in not literally you, but your team, someone will be there to do that job, but you'll have to coordinate with them. Okay, this is going to be down, and then you click on migrate, and then you do the migration of your machine. And this migration, difference between this test migration and this migration, in test migration the actual machine remains as it is. Under actual migration जो है आपका ये machine बंद हो जाता है. This machine will be shut down and the new machine will be available here. What will be the VNet, what will be the subnet, you decide that already. That is called landing zone setup. We'll read about that also, and that is the most asked question in migration. Landing migration में सब कुछ पूछता ही है. I told you already कि आपका पूरा इंटरव्यू हाफ इंटरव्यू बाकी सारे टॉपिक पे होगा, हाफ माइग्रेशन पे होगा. तो माइग्रेशन में बहुत कुछ पूछेंगे, and we'll have to go through everything. Okay, so this machine will be up here with the desired IP, whatever IP you wanted to give, that will be done here. और ये machine यहाँ पर shut down हो जाएगा. 2 hours का shut down, maybe आपने time रखा था. The machine is up here. You will do the quickly testing and everything. Once it is up, you will send an email. Okay, you can use the application now. So everything will be here as it is. The only difference is now you are on cloud. End users will not come to know, but the backend data and everything for that machine, it is still lying here. Okay, and how is it connecting? Because you have express route connectivity. We'll move the data later, or sometimes we do that together also. Together as in the same window. I've taken the window of 6 hours downtime. Initial 1 hour I moved my machine, second hour I moved the second tier, third hour I moved the database, and now everything is on cloud. I'll done on the machine. That is also fine. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
it's only 1 minute left. I'll close the session and we'll join in. We'll join in 2-3 minutes. I just have water. 14:45 sharp. I will start the session using the same link.
Okay. Sure.
Hardly 3 minutes. 14:45 sharp.